Good morning, everybody. This is Martin John, and we are here to talk about the Tao Te Ching. The Tao Te Ching is an ancient text in which was written in the 6th century BC and is full of all sorts of enigmatic wisdom and perspectives that we can take on to live a more reasonable life. When I talk about living a reasonable life, I'm always talking about living a life in which we're not asking other things or people to change for us. We take on the responsibility of our lives, and we allow people to know what's best for them. So we have to allow them that space. We have to let them exist in a space that they think is best for them, even if what they think is best for them is to, fill themselves with poison in one way or another, right? When people think, when people have thoughts that are, judgmental, that's kind of like poison. And we could decide what is poison for other people and tell them that, oh, this is poison for you. But we have to allow them to do that. And we have to respect their decision to do that. And we have to let them know that they're the ones making that decision and that we love them. We love them. And maybe we don't love the decision they're making, but we love that they're making the decision for themselves. As someone who's coming out of addiction, I know that I poisoned myself. And I poisoned myself because I was under the influence. I felt like I couldn't, be me. And the me that I wasn't good enough. The me that I was, had to be something else. I had to suppress what I wanted because I was under the influence of my parents who told me what they wanted. And I had to want what they wanted or I'd be in trouble. I had to get A's in school or I'd be in trouble. Getting in trouble was something that, I had to deal with. And when, I got in trouble, I was often like, oh, well, I guess they don't want me to be me. I'll just go ahead and be someone else. I'll be this person they want me to be because then I get praised. And I remember getting praised for things like doing really good on a spelling test or something like that. And I was always like, I don't care about the spelling test. I don't care. Like going on an interview for a job, I'm like, I don't care what you think. I'm not trying to impress you, but that's what is expected, People are always coming out expecting you. You're here to impress me. You're here to tell me how great you are. I was like, I'm great. Cece, how you doing, love?
I'm doing great, Martin John. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderfully. Are you still in England?
No, I'm in. Where am I? I'm in Scotland, Edinburgh today, but I'm.
Oh, Edinburgh, wonderful.
Amsterdam this evening, but I was gonna say, did you ever, as an adult, get that feeling of I'm gonna be in trouble for something? Because after not being home for a long time actually, I would randomly get that feeling of oh my gosh, I'm in trouble, and then I'd stop myself and be like, I'm an adult, nope, I can't get in trouble anymore.
Right. That's what I would say. I'd have to tell myself that, I'm an adult, yeah. I can't get in trouble. But I still, even to this day, I have feelings that, oh, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in trouble if you don't like something, if you don't engage in something. You're going to be in trouble if you tell someone the truth. If you're going to be in trouble if you tell someone how you feel and it's not what they expect, Yeah. I still get that.
Someone,
yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Absolutely.
I definitely, when you're speaking, when you're talking about that, I can feel that.
Yeah.
I can feel it that every once in a while, randomly too, it just like comes. I'm like, wait, I cannot get in trouble anymore.
Right.
Like, this is
Like
not safe,
I had that feeling not long ago. It's funny, because it was in my gut. I was feeling it. I didn't know where it was coming from because I was like, what is this about? And it was revolved around like my furnace, and it revolved around like professionals coming in to look at it, and I was just like, oh, I've done some things and I'm gonna get in trouble, and I was just like, what? Who cares what, like, like this has nothing, but it was important for me to be able to recognize that feeling and be able to cut it off, so I'm not investing in the idea that I can get in trouble.
Exactly.
Because that's such a big part of my upbringing. It's part of my foundation. It's just like trouble is what makes, like you can't be yourself because you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in trouble for doing this.
You can't even ask questions because you'll be
because then now that was definitely like I mean, I remember asking questions and my dad laughing at me and walking away without answering.
Yeah.
And then telling my mom to answer it for me. And I was like, am I that stupid that I'm an embarrassment to you, that you don't want to answer this question? Like that was the thought sort of that went through my mind. Like he doesn't want to have anything to do with me because I'm so stupid, because I mean, he'd call me stupid and all that kind of stuff. So those were the influences under which I lived as a child, and so that becomes my frame of reference that then, and then no wonder I was, using by 13, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely know what you mean. Like I said, I felt that right in my gut too while you were talking about it. There's definitely some stuff there still that I'm feeling. Talking about it.
Yeah, and it's okay that it's still there. It's work that we do, You want to pick a number?
How about a random number? I love the randoms.
Okay.
It's not really random, but
that's right. So 13, finding equality at the extremes.
Sorry, can I tell you, 13 is my favorite number. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh.
I was born September 13th, so it's always been my favorite number.
I'm taking a note so I can put it in your contact.
And then 1976, my year, 7 + 6, 13.
Oh, what? So this is really poignant for what we're talking about, of course, because, and we can change some of these around, some of these words to incorporate trouble. I'm not going to do that on the first pass, but to succeed and to fail are equally undesirable. Creation and destruction are equally present within us. What do I mean by to succeed and to fail are equally undesirable? The more success you have, the more you protect it by hiding failure. The more you associate with failure, the more you embody it. When neither success nor failure is identified as the destination, being becomes the objective. What do I mean by creation and destruction are equally present within us? Having a body and a mind with which I identify gets me involved in the manifestation. The manifestation convinces me of my actions, and so naming them, I both create and destroy, neither of which are unique. To see yourself with indifference. What's that?
Can you just say that last sentence again? Neither of which
are unique.
Okay, got it. Mm-hmm.
To see yourself with indifference, you will have faith in all things. To see the world with indifference, you will be able to care for it all. What stood out to you there? Like, I have some things I want to say, but I want to hear what you have.
Well, I think to see the things with indifference, right? And that includes myself,
Yeah.
Everything. Like, that's a big deal. I was like just having a conversation with myself today about that, like you're not doing anything. And that's funny because you were just talking about doing anything right, or feeling of wrong, right? Like,
right, yeah.
You're not doing anything wrong, by doing what you're doing, and I saw the sign, those who wander are not all those who wander are lost, right?
Yeah.
But I believe that's what is thought of me, and sometimes like I question that myself.
Yeah.
So
Which is wonderful, I think. I think like questioning, because I do that, like when people talk, it's like, I might be wrong. Maybe life is just about getting a job and da, da, da. I will concede that I'm not right. I'm doing the best I can with what I got, and I'm not turning to other people to tell me how to do that, so I don't so I don't think of myself as a victim of someone else's plans or ideas.
Right.
And I'm open to being wrong. And I question myself all the time. Am I what I think I am? Because I don't want to get into the state of being so sure I'm right that I'm closed off to any criticism or idea that might question that.
Yeah. Well, that's one big thing that stood out to me.
When I look at this first section, to succeed and to fail are equally undesirable. The more success you have, the more you protect it by hiding failure. And I can't help but think about like me and my sister. My sister's a year older than me, 11 months older than me. And she's good at so many things. And there was a point in her gymnastics career when she was just done.
Yeah.
But instead of walking away from it, she lost interest. And whether it was on purpose or whether it was this colossal sort of just diminishing of her ability. I think it was in her mind first, and then it happened. But when it happened, when she messed up, she just went into this spiral of like, oh, I'm never going to do it again, right? Like, rather than just being like, hey, I'm done with this. She was just hiding the fact that she was how she felt about it, because she had embraced success to such a huge degree. And she hid from like the failure of her mind because she didn't get into the Olympics and stuff like that, right? So she went to Olympic trials, but she was a little old because it's a 4-year thing. She just missed her peak happened outside of that. And she hid it by saying, oh, you know what? I hit my head and I didn't remember, and now it's that thing that is her demise. And I feel like she we talked about it as we got older. And so she kind of convinced me that, she talked to me about this idea that like, she just didn't want to do it anymore, but she couldn't face that because she was so affected by the failure, but she couldn't face it.
Yeah.
And
another part of, that like into the conversation that I was kind of like having with myself today, like, well, because I don't know, I like to question, but I don't like to get into like a beating myself up, but like I do question,
right.
Like, and am I traveling and like, look, I'm having a great time, right? Adventure, it's wonderful. The people I'm meeting, the experiences. I was going through my pictures today, and I was like trying to find a picture from, I don't know, over the summertime, and I'm scrolling through my pictures. I'm like, oh my gosh, so mmany pictures in this slight annoyance, and suddenly I'm like grateful, right?
Right. Yeah.
But also, I questioned today, like, am I doing this because of any sort of thing that I might feel I may have failed, like, right? Like, like, is there anything that, like, I listened to this gentleman, Panache Desai, and it's, like, always about it's just self-love and all of that good stuff. And, but yesterday he was saying something about like, look inside for any of that bitterness, right? Like, see if there's anything in there, because that is not you, right? And so, today I was just thinking about that. Like, is there anything in there that is not me and that I want, like, to, and that was one of the things that I questioned. Is there anything, like, as far as, I don't know, career or something that, I feel that I maybe haven't achieved or something. Like, I'm just, like I said, questioning it all. I like to
Right. That's,
and
yeah.
do all of that. And that's something that I was thinking about, that like failure thing.
And that's, also revolving around being in trouble.
Yeah.
And when you look at like that bitterness, I mean, I don't know all that the other person says or whatever, but I would say that bitterness is you as your manifestation, right? Like you as Cece, who has this very subjective experience. And that subjective experience, that bitterness, when you get to focus on it, because you don't know, right? You don't know if that's bitterness until you actually kind of reveal it, because that bitterness can always be under the surface of the sweetness of all of the things in your life.
Exactly. That's
and it could be right. And when it comes up, when it comes up in a trigger, like that annoyance of all of the pictures, right? Or whatever, like when it comes up in a trigger, you can just look at it. And if it doesn't make sense, if it's like, no, that's not it. Well, then you just put it aside. And when something else comes up, you match it and you try and, like that's what I see. It's just like, see if there's anything that relates between the two. That way you can locate that bitterness that is within you because you have a frame of reference of the world that looks a certain way. Yeah. Like, and when you start to appreciate that it's not about success or failure, it's not about like you are completely fulfilled. And when you feel those things that aren't fulfilled within you, those are things that, like you are fulfilled. But in order for you to find that depth, you have to question. You have to be open to question. And that's what you're doing. Just keeping the questions, keeping the creativity and the curiosity flowing, and just like being curious about yourself and how you react and how you feel and how that came up. Because it's not all just like love and light. Like it is.
It is.
But that love and light is underneath this subjective experience of the manifestation of your life through all of these interactions.
Right. And I'm just going to come up real quick because I just want to...
Please, yeah. All right. We're going to bring... I want to hear this last thing from Cece, and then we'll go to Melissa.
Yeah, because the last thing I was going to say is, like, I guess another thing is that, I question if I can be okay with, all of the, hey, life experiences, right? Like,
yeah,
some trauma, lots of, death in the past year, not even one being my mother, my aunt, my uncle, friends, that I sat with during. Sometimes I just question, like, am I okay? Just want to make sure, like,
yeah.
I am okay. Like, on these adventures and like running from anything. No, I can't. I'm here no matter where I am.
And you'll never know. You'll never know if you're okay. That's, and you know what I mean? You can only be as okay as you are.
Yeah.
And
as okay as I can be.
Right. You know, and when the call comes to be okay somewhere else or in a different way, you know, when you say no to that call or when you say yes to that call, you question it. You just say, yeah, as you're walking away or walking towards it, you're like, am I running? Am I running towards something? Am I running away from something? Am I doing the next most obvious thing? Because I think you're in a place of doing the next most obvious thing, which is living, you know? And when we're in that space, it is so rebellious as it relates to the way that we live our lives regularly in this society that we have to question, are we doing the right thing? And then when we come in contact with the manifestation and people who are, embodying the manifestation, they don't question themselves very often, right? Like we're questioning ourselves and we're like sane and we're doing all this. Well, am I sane? Right? Like that's a good conversation to have. Right. And then we come up against other people and it's just like they are so sure they're on the right path. They don't question themselves at all. So it makes us feel, this is why the master, when we talk about the master, we talk about the master is disinterested. The master seems coarse. The master seems, because they aren't doing what everybody else is doing. They're questioning if they're sane.
Yeah, absolutely. Many times.
Absolutely, And I think that that's the sanest thing one can do.
That makes me feel very sane.
Yeah. Well, I might not be insane. I might not be sane. So,
Who knows?
so, and that question's coming from me. So it's like, it's important to be able to, ask those questions and be like, am I doing okay? Because the more okay you're doing, I think, the more that question comes up.
Oh, thanks. That feels great.
I love you, Cece.
I love you too. Yep. Thank you so much. And hi, Melissa. I know she's coming up next. Thanks so much.
Yep, absolutely. It's so good to catch up with Cece. One of the old crew. It's so great. Melissa, how are you doing?
I am doing well, Martin John.
Oh, good. It's like sometimes it's just like rolling dice. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to get.
I feel the same way. I never know what I'm going to get either, Martin John.
Yeah, there's tumultuousness in the beginnings of like really, really loving yourself.
I really connected with what you were saying about as you know, I'm sure that living in fear is something that made a lot of sense to me, whether it was fear of being in trouble or fear of failure or fear of succeeding. Fear and that false evidence appearing real has been something that has hampered my lifestyle for a very long time, Martin John.
Yeah.
It's sad to say, but I'm glad I'm not alone. And it seems like I'm in very good company with you and my girl, Cece. So, I love both you guys so very much. And so, I can't be, like you were saying, am I sane? I wonder that all the time. But you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not alone. So that means I'm doing all right. Right, Martin John?
I think so. I like the space of questioning if this is the right answer. If am I living the right life? Is that right, quote unquote? Am I doing this? Am I insane? Like, because you look around and everybody else, they're putting on all these airs, but you don't know how true they are. You're like, you can assume that people are, falsely advertising on social media and stuff, but sometimes you're like, are they happy? Are they that happy? And it's like, is it possible to be that happy or that, and And I really like my life, which doesn't really have like huge happy, you know. But it's this really deep love and respect for this moment, you know.
Well, I was thinking when you were talking about the fear of success and failure, you know, how work for me, that's a constant thing. Like, you know, they sent out this email, you know, one of my supervisors saying, oh, you should be doing X, Y, and Z. And then I start spinning this story. Oh, no, I'm going to get in trouble because I didn't do whatever, you know. Like you said, it's all stupid, Martin, John. What are they going to do? Are they going to fire me? And, like, am I going to be homeless? And, like, you know, spinning this whole stupid story because, like, it is all just stupid, you know? It really is.
You know, when I talk to boards and stuff, and I talk to organizations and other things like that, like, everybody really just wants to have, everyone has the same issues that we have, right? They want to be heard. They want to be listened to. They want to be important. They want to have these, you know, and if somebody reads a book, you know, and I'm not harping on reading. I just realized that, you know, you're my reading person. But if someone, it's often that someone will read a book and then all of a sudden everything they want in their life changes for like 3 weeks. You know, like I remember someone who was like, who read a book like the 5 a.m. challenge or whatever. Now I wake up at 4 a.m. and I wake up at 4 just because I do. Like today I woke up like at 3:45 or whatever. And, you know, I just journaled. I did my thing, whatever. But when I was talking to this person and she was just like, oh my God, I'm waking up at 5 a.m. And I was like, oh, that's great. I don't care. You know, I don't care that she's waking up at 5 a.m. I don't think there's anything special about 5 a.m. I happen to wake up at 4 just because that happens to be when I function best. After 2 weeks, she was exhausted, drinking more coffee than ever. And like, she was like, I can't do this anymore. And I was like, then why are you? She just didn't question, is this what I want to be doing? She didn't ask the question because she read a book and changed her life. She just changed it. Like, she didn't ask if this was the right answer. She read a book that supported waking up at 5 a.m. being the right answer. So she just assumed that it was. And I think that, you know, when you get emails from people at work, you never know what stupid book they went out and read because there are stupid books everywhere. You aren't stupid.
Oh, thank you, Martin John. I agree with that 100%. I'm kind of biased, though.
I know. And that's the thing. Like some books are great and are meant for you to read and are meant for you to change your life around. Some books, like maybe the Bible, maybe the Quran, maybe the Tao, maybe, you know, men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I don't care. I don't know a lot of books. Maybe, you know, 1984, like whatever it is, right? Like these books can change your life and you can open your mind to things. And I love, you know, being an artist and writing being an art form. I can appreciate all of those things. But you still know what's best for you beyond it all.
Oh, speaking of that, Martin John, guess what I did yesterday?
Axe throwing?
Oh, no, but I really want to do that. Oh, my goodness. I so want to do that. But no, so Cool Beans the other day threw down a challenge. And you know me, I like challenges, right? So this challenge was to see how many hugs I can get. I want you to venture to take a guess how many hugs I accumulated yesterday.
Yesterday, hugs. You went to school?
Yes, I went to
I would
school
say,
and I was come on, what you got for me, Martin John?
Okay, it's like I would think getting into the double digits would be easy. You're at school, probably. I mean, I want to go into the 30s, but I'm going to cut it back to 24.
Oh my goodness, Martin John! I got 230 hugs yesterday, my dude. 230.
Holy shit!
Right? Isn't that fucking awesome, man? Give me a challenge.
Like 200, like from 230 different people?
Well, some of
Or
the
did you
kids
get multiple?
I did get multiple. The kids, because I tell my students what's going on, and I'm like, okay, I got this hug challenge. I'm trying to see how many hugs I
Oh
can
my
get.
God.
And they're like, well, can we give you more than one hug? I'm like, yes, you can. You can give me as many hugs as you want. So by like 9 o'clock, I had gotten like 100 hugs because,
Oh
the
my
kids were
God.
like, okay, let me give you another hug. At one point, the fourth grade teacher took a picture of me where I was just embraced in a group of kids with their arms around me. How wonderful is that, Martin John?
That's beautiful.
Right?
Yeah.
So I have to, even though I've not heard back from Cool Beans, I'm confident that I have won the hug challenge, my friend.
I'm pretty sure that that's there's no way. Like I couldn't. That's a huge number.
I don't think he got.
I don't know that I've ever cracked 100 hugs in a day.
I was racking them up. I was getting all the love, Martin John.
That's so great. And look at how much energy you have. You're so. I think you should maybe instead. Steps are important, but maybe hugs are more important.
Well, that is my emotional currency, and I like hugs. They make me feel secure. They make me feel loved. So, it was something that was a wonderful challenge for me to accept. So when Cool Beans threw down that gauntlet, I gladly picked it up. I'm like, oh, yes.
Nice.
Yes, I can do that, my friend.
I'm grateful for that. Oh, that's amazing. 235?
235 hugs. Yes, sir.
That's a lot. I'm gonna divide that by how many minutes, and I'll figure out what your average is. Okay, so let's pick a number.
How about 39?
39. Unity. Unity is the standard. When achieved, all things are harmonious. Heaven achieved it through purity. Planets achieved it through solidity. Beings achieve it through purpose. Generation after generation, each individual being finds their own unity, their own harmony. If heaven were to lose its purity, so too its union with planets. If planets were to lose their solidity, so too their union with beings. If beings were to lose their purpose, without unity, all would perish and decay. The Master honors everything in every form. She knows that there is nothing between the highest and the lowest. Differentiating, we lose touch with unity. Always adjusting to find unity, the Master lets herself be lived, constantly being renewed and shaped by Tao, rugged and full of resolve. Let me toss the ball to you for now, and then I want to say something.
I like what it was talking about. The Master lets herself live and being rugged, and that without unity, everything will perish and decay. Those are the phrases that really kind of jumped out at me when you were reading.
Yeah, it's that for me too, and especially as it relates to the email that you received from the guy. I think it was a guy. He might have.
No, it was a woman, but it doesn't matter. It's all stupid any damn way. Stupid.
So the woman that said we should be doing things this way, right? And that's what pops out to me, especially when it's like you're receiving this and you're adjusting because you are constantly being renewed. And if we think about how Cece and I were talking earlier and the idea of being in trouble, you have the feeling, you question the feeling, and then you are renewed by not submitting to what someone else wants of you, but by knowing yourself beyond that individual relationship, knowing yourself beyond that person's ideas of you. And that's if, without unity, all would perish and decay. So if beings were to lose their purpose, and, that word is utilized specifically because we can think of another verse of the Tao where it talks about your purpose. And now I'm losing it. I lost which one it was. But when we talk about purpose, we're talking about, give me a moment. Why would, if we didn't have purpose, why would we want to live? There's that one verse that talks about if you lose your purpose, why do you want to live? There needs to be purpose. People are starved for purpose because everything they do is taxed. And if your purpose is appointed to you, why would you want to live? Why, your purpose comes from your inside. And here's somebody who's telling you we should be doing this, but your work is your purpose. And if you were to kowtow, or if you were to just receive and do everything everybody would tell you, you wouldn't be living up to your purpose. You wouldn't be making choices for yourself. Now they can tell you we should be doing this, and you can take that on and you can say, does that make sense for me? Am I inspired by that? Let me think about it. You're not trying to be contradictory, but you are taking it in and saying, oh, she thinks we should be doing this. Is this something that aligns with what I want, how I do, what I do? So,
no, I, like you, Martin John, would love to be the contrarian and tell them how stupid this thing is, and this paper that they want me to fill out every time I have a group, and put down these numbers for how much of a percentage the kids participated. And oh my goodness,
ridiculous.
How stupid is that? And it's flipping almost February, and you guys are just now telling me this when school started in August? What?
Right.
Come on, people. It's so stupid.
So stupid. And, and that's the thing. If you're going to lose, if your purpose is to connect with the child, and they're telling you, no, I don't care if you connect with the child. I want to know the numbers. Well, if I don't connect with the child, those numbers aren't going to look good. And if I'm focused on the numbers, then I'm not focused on the child. And then here, when you lose your purpose, without unity, all would perish and decay. And I would argue that education is slowly perishing and decaying because teachers are being coaxed to lose their purpose because they have to fill out paperwork, because they have to make the numbers work, because they have to prove that they're good teachers.
Oh my goodness, I 100% agree with you because, what does that little stupid piece of paper prove? It doesn't prove anything. It doesn't prove that Carlos is a good reader. It doesn't prove that, come on, really? And it's just a waste of my time to have me sitting down writing these stupid numbers in there and then taking more time out of my day where I could be giving out 230 hugs. You guys want me to sit here and check little boxes and fill in stupid numbers. Oh my
That's
goodness.
Right. Yeah. And so when it talks about without unity, all would perish and decay, that's actually happening. And then it says, the master honors everything in every form. Of course, you honor every, you can honor their desire to want these numbers. And you can desire, and you can want that. But she knows there is nothing between the highest and the lowest. There's nothing between them wanting their numbers and you wanting to educate these children and connect with them. But differentiating between the two, we lose touch with unity. Like if you're right, it's like you just got to go in and do what you do. Your argument isn't right, but neither is theirs. There's nothing between the two. You go into your class and you be Melissa. That is the ultimate in being. It's not about, because these numbers may help somebody. I don't know who, but and they could look at you and go, well, the way you do it will help somebody too. And that's about both sides conceding to knowing that we are all guided by Tao.
Yeah, I wonder sometimes if people that make these decisions, Martin John, are guided by Tao. I think that some of them are guided by stupidity because, like you said, I do see our education system perishing and decaying. And I've been doing this, as you know, for quite a long time. And I see not to be judgmental, but I see the caliber or the level of teachers that they have today and the disservice that they're doing to these children. And it's because the people that have sense are like, no, I'm not going to jump through all your stupid hoops anymore. I'm going to go do something else because what you guys are trying to get me to do is stupid. And you know what? I love kids and I love to be able to go and get 230 hugs in a day. But I also don't want to be forced to jump through all of these stupid hoops, Yeah.
And this is why always adjusting to find unity, the master lets herself be lived. Maybe that means not teaching. Maybe that, because I think a lot of teachers have left the most needy kids, the best teachers who would want to work in the public school system or whatever, because you're going to get to make the most effect, have been, because they don't want to do those forms, because they don't want their teaching style to be mandated by the state, because they don't want their teaching style to be mandated by their superior who's never taught a day in their life.
Exactly. Yeah. The people making these decisions have no clue.
Right. And then they get fired because their numbers aren't the same. Their numbers aren't good. This is the same with doctors. Doctors use this thing called relative value units. And what they do is they try and bargain with doctors and not every doctor is going to fall for this, but in order to get your salary, you need to hit a certain relative value unit criteria. And let's say you get a half of a unit for talking to someone for 45 minutes, but you get 3 units for medicating them. What are you going to do? You can medicate them in 2 minutes. But if you have to talk to them for 45 minutes to get a half a point, you're going to prioritize medication. And that's how we've reduced people's jobs, and we've reduced people's focus to be profitable for a very small number of people. And this is, when you're dealing with your education system and you're telling teachers, look, you're a great teacher, but doesn't match the numbers. We're going to have to get rid of you. Where are they going to go? They're going to go to a private school. They're going to go to places that they're going to be supported, where people are going to see them as individuals. That means that the people that need the most help are going to get the least quality. And because they have low quality, they have to have high turnover, but also high observation and high paperwork and things like that. You're going to say we have to monitor you because so many of our teachers aren't, because we got rid of all the best teachers. And so it's this cycle. It's this huge cycle in which unity is being, there's no unity between like the teachers and the management.
Absolutely. There is absolutely not unity between the teachers and the admin and, the people that are making the stupid decisions. But you know what? I'm going to go and I'm going to be Melissa, and I may not get 230 hugs today, but I'm still going to let my light shine, Martin John, and I'm not going to let their stupid paperwork get me down, because you know what? I'm going to just be a human being, and I'm going to be the best Melissa that I can in the stupid constraints that they're trying to put me in.
That's right. And we need it. Thank you.
I love you, Martin John. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. There are a lot of people out there. And Dave Canyon's writing me about his wife who teaches special ed as well. And Melissa does too. So that's a beautiful thing. Susan, how are you, dear?
I am good, Martin John. How are you?
I'm doing great. Everything is just, everything's been getting done. Like got my furnace fixed, got the toilet in the back fixed. I'm gonna take the rest of the ceiling down in my kitchen today so I can track out all the electrics and start redoing the electricity in this house. So life is easy.
Live in that house.
Yeah.
I have resonated with quite a few things that have been talked about today, and I wasn't going to come on, but in one of my lifetimes, I was a social worker in a healthcare unit. And the fact that we had to, towards the end, is where I quit, because we had to spend so much time on paperwork for the state, justifying everything that we did, instead of spending time with the patients. And it became a huge problem, just a huge problem.
Yeah.
So I got out of that. But what I wanted to tell you too is I'm in a group healthcare plan, Northern Arizona Healthcare, where there's just a conglomerate of different doctors.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they decided that they had to see so many patients every day. They were only allowed to give like 7 minutes to each patient. And then they had to document everything they were doing. And I ended up having 4 primary care physicians in 1 year. They would just come in and they would leave. And talk about disruption of a healthcare system. Nobody knew what they were doing. Nobody knew their patients. You know, it was just crazy what was going on. So that was my story today. But when it comes to hugs.
The hugs. Yeah, go on.
There was one day, this was years ago, before I came to Sedona. I was sitting in my room and my son called me and said, "How you doing?" I said, "Blah. I'm just blah." He said, "Why don't you go do something? Just get out of the room, go out." So I went out and I approached probably 15 people that I didn't know. And I said, "Can I give you a hug today just because I need one?" And every one of them said yes. And I'd have somebody take a picture of it. And then I sent my son all these pictures of me being hugged the whole day long. And I ended up with the best, happiest day of my life. It was just awesome.
Beautiful. And that's that's the beginning of you getting out to Sedona. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, that's the truth. Well, he's the one that told me, just get off your ass and go do something, you know.
Absolutely.
He's my barometer. He knows when I'm going down.
That's good.
So there we go. Those were. I
wanna. When you came on, we talked a little bit about what I call the 80-20 rule. I mean, you know the 80-20 rule. But when we reduce education, when we reduce healthcare, when we reduce everything to just numbers. We're not appreciating all of the things. We get rid of 80% of what we look at to focus on the 20% that we think we're benefiting from. But within that 80% was all of the stuff that held that 20% up.
Absolutely.
And when we reduce things to just the 80-20, how many generations, 3 or 4, maybe 5, maybe more, have been reducing an industry to the 80-20 rule? Meaning that at some point, healthcare was, you had tinctures and you had acupuncture, you had all of these like alternative things, but then we got rid of all of those for just MD stuff, just medical stuff like that, as we understand it today. So that was the 80-20. That was the first cut of 80-20. And then we, sold nutrition. There's another 80-20. Reduction.
Mm-hmm.
So you take 20% and then you take 80% of that 20% out. And then you have this like little sliver of what it was. And that's just 2 dissections. You cut that 20%, again, you're less than 1%. We are stuck today with less in education. There's less than 1% of the styles of teaching. There's only one way to teach math now. There's only one way to teach children now. There's only one way to do things. And all of that is being monitored by people who have never taught. Healthcare is being monitored by people who are not doctors.
Exactly.
And so we've gotten rid of so much just because of this 80-20 rule. And we talk about the 80-20 rule as if it's like this wonderful thing. Well, this is what we benefit from. And this is how farming has gone. It's kind of like in a field of a forest, you will only be able to produce so much food. So if we get rid of the forest and then just plant food, then it is more productive. Well, yeah, but then we need Monsanto to get involved. And we need all of these other things to get involved because that's not how things work. Things work, as we're reading in this number 39, with unity, working together. But we don't work together anymore.
You can see it in so many different.
You're muffled. I don't know if you're covering your mic.
Sorry, I've covered my ear.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yep, I got you perfect.
Okay. So many different areas are just diminished to the point where, you can kind of find it in everything.
Yeah, I think so.
Look at that. And I don't know how to turn it back around. I don't know. Not me personally, but I don't know how it can be turned back around. That's one of the questions I have now that I'm dealing with. I get frustrated. Because of all these hoops, Melissa.
Yeah. I think the best thing that we can do, because the 80-20 rule was applied to us, where we loved 20% of who we were, but we ignored 80%. Yeah. Or we judged 80%. And I think if we can take that and switch that around within ourselves, we can love 100% of ourselves, the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent, and all of the things in between. Then we will be teaching others through just the cosmic consciousness that we're all a part of. That it's not about picking what you think you benefit from. It's about taking it all, because it's all connected. You're connected to those feelings of hate that you have to somebody. Look at that within yourself.
Where's it coming from?
Where's it coming from? Right.
What do you hate in yourself?
Absolutely. And what is it that, what is it what is the root? What is the anchor of that? And then look at yourself and then love that part of yourself. And then you're going to be able to love all of the things around you, and you're going to be able to share all of the things that are around you without animosity, without fear, without all of that, without all that baggage. And I think that's how we turn it around. Because I think that because we have 80-20'd ourselves.
We've been put in that category. You had to put on that face.
That's right. We've been told that you are a product.
Right.
But that's not it.
If everybody would just read the Tao and study it.
Well, like, I don't know how you're going to get it, but like people can find this. I think people can find this in all ancient texts or all religious texts, really, if they're written from the standpoint of inspiration. Now, lots of those texts have been co-opted, and so many of those texts have been, like, even me, like, I'm probably doing the Tao a disservice but I hope not,
No.
But I do understand, like, because I think Christianity has so much to offer. Unfortunately, it's been so co-opted by business that you can't see what there is to offer, right? Like you can only see the product behind everything. So not only, I think there are people who don't, but and when people really get it, that's different than when people like are under the influence of a specific sect or a specific idea and say this is right, this is wrong, and these are things, and that's like, well, that and I know Tao is non-dual, and most religions have duality involved and stuff, and so it's a different way of looking at it. But
yesterday I had a light bulb moment. I was having a hard time trying to incorporate God into the Tao. I couldn't figure out how it worked. Was he the Tao? And all of a sudden it just hit me. He's just part of the whole deal. He's in Tao. He's in us. Tao is in us.
Right.
And if you just feel that and let it happen, your life becomes so much easier, Martin John.
I know.
So anyway, there's my rant for today.
I'm going to read number 4 for your rant.
Oh, good, because that's what I was reading yesterday when I had my light bulb.
Oh, yeah. It is even the source of God. Right. That's the one that came up when you said that. So Tao is the void, and the void is within everything. As it relates to what is perceptible, everything is mostly void. As the origin of everything, it is hidden within every particular thing. The master knows it is even the source of God, and yet others still go on searching. You are Tao. You are everything. You are the source of God. Within you lies all that was needed to create God.
That just opened up a part of me that had been so closed because I couldn't figure it out. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
I've been brought up with religion, and I've questioned religion many times in my life. I've had some pretty bad experiences with it.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, it just all made sense.
Yeah.
And it's because of the Tao, because of just reading the Tao over and over and trying to figure these riddles out.
Yeah, they're beautiful, and it'll keep blossoming for you. I mean, I hope, right? Like, I hope that as
so much fun,
and that's the thing. It's fun. It's not this heavy-handed, like, right, wrong, like you got it right, you got it wrong. It's like it's fun.
It's work. All of a sudden, you see it, and it's like, woohoo!
Yeah, it's like there's so many rewards in there, like and like that last line, and yet others. It's just kind of like it's this little cheeky thing that it's just like it's even the source of God, and yet people think that they don't understand it. People think that it's not that it's out there.
It's something beyond you. It's
Right.
in you. It's in you.
Is you, right? Like, it's so amazing. It gets me so excited. It's so, it's so good.
Me too. Me too. That's why I came on. And I've always been I love puzzles. I love puzzles, and I do them, and I'm very analytical on them. And the Tao is just this puzzle that just keeps on giving.
Yeah, it is, and I'm grateful that we connected over it.
Yep, me too, Martin John, and I'll talk to you again soon.
All right.
Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye. We're going to bring up Cool Beans. Cool Beans, I don't know, did you hear Melissa? She got 235 hugs the other day when you laid the gauntlet.
Dude, I did. I heard that. Oh, my gosh. She sent a message yesterday. I think she was at 180. And so,
oh, man.
That is just absolutely beautiful. I love it. You know, I am the male maintenance guy out of school, and they frown if I go around and try to hug every child.
Oh, yeah. No.
It doesn't go very far. And I'm dirty looking, you know, because I got dirty clothes on from working, and, you know, parents, it's a charter school, you know, so it's full of helicopter parents. And when the dirty guy on campus is going around hugging kids, the cops get called rather quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to cross that bound.
Yeah, and then so in listening to all the bits and pieces, that took me to one of those ancient Chinese proverb thingamajiggers where they talk about life is the pendulum, and if you pull on it as hard as you can only pull back so far before it drags you back to the center of life, and if you push on it as hard as you can only go so far before its weight's too heavy and it mauls you down. Yeah. And so I'm like, again, another day I'm just sitting here and I'm like, just boogieing with life and enjoying it. And,
good.
The gal I met the other day had inspired me, and I took off on 10 years off the couch. Here I go. I'm going to go mountain trail running, and had a good trail run, and I had, good spirit, and it was cold. It was really cold. It's -2 this morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, with no snow, no humidity. There's hardly frost on the window. But with that, let's see what your Dow machine pulls up for me today.
All right. We'll click on the random button and see you got 25.
Oh, cool. That sounds good.
25. I call it Tao. Before the manifestation of heaven, there is void. It is still and has no form. Inexhaustible, it reaches everywhere. It is at the core of everything. Since names have become important, it has been called Tao. It flows amongst manifestation without resistance, inside, outside, conscious, subconscious. Tao is great. Universes are great. Planets are great. Beings are great. These four are all great and follow the law of their principle. All beings follow their planet. Planets follow their universe. Universes follow Tao, and Tao follows only its nature.
Wow.
When I
that's a lot.
When I read that, I think about you going trail running after 10 years. Like you were inspired by this interaction that you had. This interaction that you had was, happened at the fire. She happened to be there. You happened to be there. Like, Tao is orchestrating all of this. And it's in space. It is in manifestation. It is on this planet. As Tao flows amongst manifestation without resistance, inside, outside, conscious, and subconscious. You do what you do, and you don't know why, but you're being guided. And as is she, as is her dog. And you're connected through all of that, and you come together, and that inspires each of you. Your trail riding, your trail running, who knows what she's doing? Who knows how that inspired her? Your thoughts are moving in different directions about it. But it's emptiness, it's void, it's nothingness until you give it meaning.
Yeah, existence is nothingness without you giving it your meaning.
Right. And here it is, you're inspired, you're moving within, you're moving on the planet, right? And that's when it says beings are great, and beings follow their planet. And so you engage with the planet and the other beings on the planet. You can't engage with the sun. I mean, you can sun on the planet, but you can't have, like, you're not going to go and, just like you had a relationship with this woman, this little, conversation and stuff. It's like you can't communicate with the sun in that way. You can communicate it energetically. You can communicate it with it by being in it, by lifting your face and feeling the warmth of it and things like that. That's still in relation to the planet, because you're only able to get that sun because the planet, this part of the planet is facing the sun. So it's still very relevant to the planet, not your specific relationship with the sun. You can't just knock on the door and have it come out whenever you want.
Exactly.
So you have a relationship with the planet. The planet has relationships with other planets. So when it faces, when the sun is, when this part of the planet that you're on faces the sun, you can then engage with the sun. But the planet is the one that's doing the relation. And then you can have this relationship to the sun, but you have to concede the power of that relationship or the bridge of that relationship to the planet.
You're that, we're close to that with nature too. Something that, we have the ability to stop our downfall of how we're taking care of our things. We have the ability now.
And I think a lot of that has, like I was talking with Susan, has to do with our loving ourselves and our understanding that this is, like, we aren't alone. We aren't separate.
Yeah.
And, when we talk about unity, we talk about all of these things, like it's all, and
yeah, we're all a part of this fish tank, people.
Absolutely.
Let's love it.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. You have a beautiful morning.
You too.
I'm glad to hear your furnace is taken care of.
Oh yeah, look, we're working like a charm. I had to separate out yesterday. I had to clear out the drain because it was still backing up a bit, and I was like, what's going? And I cleared it out. Now I'll just check every week or so for a while before I kind of set it and forget it. And I'll definitely check it a couple times a year. But like, I don't think I have to check it every day. So.
Yeah, the condensate drains, sometimes you can just rebuild them, put a brand new one in. The old junk in them collects the new junk.
Right, yeah. And I cleaned it out with some baking soda and vinegar and stuff like that. And just kind of
there you go.
Trying to clear it all out. Yeah. So.
Yeah. The beautiful full moon, too. It's been a wonderful week.
Yeah.
It's
just a wonderful life.
Wonderful week. It sure is. And that, right back to that pendulum. It's like, man, if you're going to fight life and if you're going to yank in it and pull on it and push on it, and that son of a gun is just going to fight you back. And that's just right. To be here with it is just a beautiful thing. So thank you. Right. You have a wonderful morning. Everybody else in Zoom Vibe Nation. Okay, bye.
Okay, I got Spring Blossom coming up. And yeah. Hey Blossom, how you doing? Are you with me?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I got you now.
Hey. Hello, Mountain John.
Hello. How are you?
I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's been very hot. I've loved what's been going on listening to you, and Melissa was quite amazing.
She is.
I love that conversation about the kids and the ways in which we have a construct that's damaging relationships rather going down paper path. It's not, it's so sad. So in every institution at the moment. And I go to you get my car registered and I've got to fill out all this stuff and I hate it and I don't want to be doing it. And, you know, they say, you don't do it. You know, they kind of blackmail you into filling out forms and giving them information and stuff. And it's just so inhumane and horrible. And that's the construct.
Mm-hmm. And if you want a car and if you want to drive in this society, like that's again, hoop jumping.
Yeah.
You know, and if you want a horse, you're going to have to do more, right? Like, if you want a horse and you want to go trotting around instead of a car, you're going to have to fill out forms and you're going to have to make sure. And you got to be.
Well, you know, the thing is about and all this stuff, it's not really for the benefit of the people driving cars. It's for the benefit of the people gaining the revenue and creating jobs for themselves and institutions that pull in revenue. And so that's what makes me crazy, you know. I think that's that they've done with the medical as well. You know, they're doing it with the other people, and it's just a bit sad, that's all. And I feel a bit sad today. I think, you know, I'm not feeling the full benefit of my existence right now because it's been very hot, and I've thought about maybe this is not maybe it's not going to be good for my health, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The heat it's a killer.
Yeah, that's right. It does kill old people and children and animals and all that when it's too hot or too cold or, you know. So that's where I've been today, is thinking about, because it was 43 degrees here.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, it was about going in and out of water all day, and we have got one room which got what do you call it, air conditioning.
Yeah.
And so we're in and out of that, but getting in and out of water. And that's been 3 days of that. Cool. And then I'll drive out of this area.
Okay. Yeah, that's too much. I don't know that I've ever experienced what would be equivalent to like 110 degrees Fahrenheit.
Is it? I'm not sure.
Yeah. It's right about there.
Yeah.
That's I don't know that I've ever experienced that. I know we've had heat waves that have gotten up to like 105, 107, maybe 108, but 110, like that's still, that's.
Yeah, it's over the top.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just the beginning of summer.
Well, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to travel about 500 Ks or something like that and get out of this weather, go down south and be in Adelaide. It'll only be about 30 down there.
Oh, that's relatively easy. That's good weather. 30.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to go back to migrating.
And it's a beautiful place where I'm at too. We went to the lake as well and had a swim out there, and there were pelicans and big tall trees, very old trees along the edge of the lake, and fish jumping, and it's benefits, and I've talked before about the river not being looked after, and so I'm tempted to want to stay here, but not in this weather.
Yeah, no, like you're the important thing. It's the energy that you put into it and the love that you offer it, even when you're present, and when, just like you and I have never met, but I can benefit and feel the love that you send, just like the river can, just like the people there can. You do what you do because you're being inspired to do it. And sometimes you have to, pick yourself up by your bootstraps and do a thing. But sometimes you just have to survive.
Yeah. And that's how I'm feeling at the moment, is that I'm just surviving through what's very uncomfortable and threatening something inside my body.
Right.
My body doesn't feel right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
You got a number for me today?
16.
16. I like 16. 16 is stillness and integration.
Wow.
And in the heat, stillness is something that you're forced to do.
That's true. Yeah.
And I think that it's nice because at night, and I think this happens in Australia when it's cool. Like a lot of animals come out, a lot of nocturnal animals come out, a lot of nocturnal actions happen. And then in the day, there's this. It's interesting, because we see the daytime as the time to be active, but for so many nocturnal animals, it's so active at night, and then the daytime, it's so hot. Everything is just trying to survive through sleep and through shade and through trying to bury themselves in the earth where it's cooler. And it says being empty of mind is of the utmost importance, and it is to be guarded with fervor. We have all seen states of action arise, and always beyond it returns stillness. When any state of action is complete, it naturally returns to stillness. This allows integration of what arose from action, which is the natural cycle of maturation. If stillness and integration cannot be achieved, constant action will lead to anxiety and wild movements. Yielding to stillness makes one impartial, and all particular things fall away. Then, when it is time to die, one can be impartial to that as well.
That's beautiful.
What I love about this is all particular things fall away. The particulars of your passion for the river, or your passion for being there and standing up and being accountable with the river and the people that are there. That's a particular thing. But yielding to stillness makes one impartial. And that's not impartial for what's happening to the river, but it's impartial to how you will find a way to support the river, how you will find a way to support the people that are here, how you will find a way to love the people that you're surrounded by. When you're impartial to the way you do it, then you will find new ways to do it.
Oh, yeah.
But when you only have one way of doing it, and then the weather gets bad, well, then that one way of doing it will keep you there if it's about being present, will keep you there, but put you in danger. And when you're impartial to how it happens, well, yes, you still love and support these people and you're here with them, but it's time for you to go for now. But that doesn't mean that your spirit is gone. That doesn't mean your support is gone. That doesn't mean your love is gone. That doesn't mean your strength is even gone. The only thing that's gone is you as your body. The strength that you have. You could be sending your strength and other people could be absorbing it so that they have the strength to fill in for your missing, for the fact that you're not present.
Wow. I've got a journey to take, and that's where I was heading when I came to the river. And I'll come back to the river, but
Absolutely.
I've got other places I need to be, and I couldn't go because it was too hot. I had to wait till the weather gets better, and that's on Thursday, which is 2 days away.
Yeah.
And then I've got things to do in that other town, which is South Australia, another state. And then I've got other things to do in Victoria as well. So I've got a lot of traveling to do ahead of me, and I was exhausted from this heat, and it's going to be okay. I love what you just said. It was really enriching to hear those words that you just spoke. I just feel very very happy that I come on here and listen to you and get inspired to think deeper about the situations I get in.
Yeah. And you get yourself into some situations.
I do.
You do.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
Hey.
I love you, Blossom. I'm so glad that we've connected.
Thank you. Me too. I really love you, Mountain John. You're an inspiration in my life, and I'm so happy that I found you.
Well, I'm honored. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna take you off because I'm gonna have to. Yeah. I actually have to go to the bathroom and do some other things. So I'm gonna wrap up real quick. Thank you so much for coming on. I love you so much. Cool Beans, Susan, Melissa, and Cece, thanks for coming up and sharing the Tao with me. Couldn't do this without you guys. So once again, my heart goes out to all of you. Big hugs all around. Nowhere like the 235 that Melissa got yesterday, but so grateful that she did. Okay. If anybody wants to contact me, you can do so through my website, other places like that. You can find all those links in my profile. But other than that, thank you so much once again. And until next time, keep recovering yourself.